The king, baby.
Hello everybody, it's me, Michael B. Thank you for choosing to spend your Monday night with me. We've got a fun show tonight. We're going to be talking about all these wild and crazy Arcade1Up rumors that have been speculating around the home arcade community. We're going to take a look at what's real, or what's sort of real, and what's complete bullshit. So anyways, I'm not going to delay this any longer. I'm told my intros are way too long. Thank you so much. This is Chillin' Chat with Michael B. Alright guys, so a little bit of house cleaning. Some things are different here now. One of which is I have decided, thanks to YouTube's new weird ad policies, I don't know what the hell's going on, but I've removed my midstream ads. Not because of pressure from other people or it's the cool thing to do. I don't know if you guys have been watching YouTube lately, but like I watch it all day long with my freaking kids, and I'm watching Elmo or I'm watching Miss Rachel, and then this ad comes on that you can't skip for like a minute and a half. So it's just stupid. It's already bad enough that there was like a 5-second ad that maybe would take you away from the show and you miss things. So I just said, screw it. So I'm not doing that anymore. Hopefully that means it's a better viewing experience for you guys overall anyways. A couple other things I want to talk about just off the top, some things I want to discuss with you guys. So I'm going to bring this up on screen. A lot of you guys might not know this, but if you're on Twitter, you might have seen this pop up earlier today. So you guys all know my buddy Travis MCP, Travis, who works for Arcade1Up. He's the community liaison. I don't know if he's still doing that or not. But anyways, Travis looks like he's in hospital right now. So send some well wishes out to Travis. Hopefully he's doing okay. And hopefully he's on the mend soon. Good guy, Travis. So anyways, if you like him, send some warm wishes out his way. Really quickly, I'll take that off screen. We got a $2 super chat here from Kevin Clausen. Kevin, one of the nicest guys in the whole community, gave me the heads up the other day on that Arcade1Up financial news, which we'll talk about a little bit later on. Thank you so much, Kevin. $2 super chat, 19K Fox, carries a measuring tape everywhere. That's probably true. He definitely has a gun. There might be a measuring tape with it. Thank you very much, Kevin. I know you got to give the people what you want, but I'm not doing that anymore either. So anyways, guys, a couple other things I wanted to bring up. Another one is this right here. Another community member. I'm sure you guys have seen it right now. JC Reynolds. There's a GoFundMe up right now. His wife, actually, it looks like she has terminal cancer. Things are not good right now. So he's got to GoFundMe up. You can see a couple people, some familiar people from the community. There's my buddy Nick Madsen there. He dropped $25 recently. So if you got a heart out there, like if you were going to drop some super chats for me tonight, screw that. Go help out JC Reynolds. He's got to be going through a pretty terrible time right now. I can't imagine losing my wife. So don't give me any super chats tonight if you were planning on it. If you weren't, don't worry about it. But if you can, go support JC Reynolds. I don't have it up right now, but I'll leave a link in the description after we finish up tonight. I'll put it in the video so you guys can check that out and, send him some warm wishes as well. Good dude. Help their family out. All right, guys. So let's take that down. We'll get directly into the show. Oh, there is a little bit more house cleaning that I want to get through right away. The other thing is, look for a video from me early tomorrow morning. Well, it's actually not going to be early tomorrow morning here. It's 11 p.m. Pacific Standard Time, which works out to be about 3:30 in the afternoon. So I'll be about an hour away from getting off work. Who's kidding? I never get off work. My work is constant all the time. So after 3:30, I'll probably be putting out a video. And if you don't care about what I think, you can just go check out the news from the New Wave Toys Facebook page or join their mailing list. They'll be unveiling Replicate mini pins tomorrow. And I've got a really big feeling that this Replicate mini pin is going to be a little miniature mechanical pinball machine. So I'm very excited to see what this is tomorrow morning. Expect some coverage from me on that, but honestly, if you just want the news, go check out New Wave Toys. All right, guys, I'm going to get a sip of coffee, and then we're going to say hello to the people in the chat, and then we're going to get into all these wild and wacky rumors. Thank you very much, Daniel Murray, explaining that. When I say jazz, I mean stuff. And jazz is better than stuff. I try to remember to say jazz whenever I can. All right, guys, so let's go back and see all the nice people that joined. So first off, early today, because I put the stream up this morning, I knew it was going to be a busy day. My wife is getting ready for a trial right now. And as a young lawyer, heading up a trial, I mean, that's going to be a lot of work. So I'm on dad duty constantly, so I got this up super early in the morning. JJ says, hey, Michael B., interesting topic. I'm sure there's a lot of BS out there, but a lot of times where there's smoke, there's fire. 100%. There's no rumor that doesn't come from some grain of truth, and we'll get into that tonight. Paul Minderman's here. Paul Minderman, one of the biggest Arcade1Up fans, hates when we do shows about other things. He left my show with Glenn last week, but Paul, good to see you, brother. Gotham City Arcade, nice to see you as well, too. Curious on your take on what's going on with Arcade1Up. Yeah, there's a lot to unpack there, and we'll talk about that. Carlo says there's a rumor Atari asked 1UP to do pole position. That would be interesting. That would be interesting. And someone else mentioned it a little later on in the comments. John D has said to me many times during conversation about pole position when talking about racing cabs, I'm like, what you're doing with your racing cabs is kind of messed up. You either got to go forward and do Daytona, rush, cruising, or go backwards and do like a real big arcade, classic that all the collectors want, which is pole position. And he said, you can't do pole position because of the branding and the signs. You got to change that up. My Arcade and My Tiny Arcade have recently released ports of pole position, so maybe there's a way for them to do it. It'll be interesting to see if Arcade1Up could do that. My moderator's here, Jason Little Alien. Good afternoon, chat. Hope everybody had a most excellent weekend. Catch in 8 hours. I told you I put up the show a long time ago. James Hates Everything says, great topic. Andrea F. Responding to Carlo, it's the only way for Arcade1Up to do new cabinets nowadays. Even if the company wants Arcade1Up to do it, it doesn't mean that it'll be done. We'll talk about that a little bit more when we discuss the whole classic cabinet rumor. Dan Z, Dan in St. Louis, so good to see you, brother. Michael B, topic tonight. New Wave Toys, mini pins. We just brought that up. There's not much more to talk about other than wild speculation and trying to pull things together. We'll get our news tomorrow morning. Where was this? There was a comment from Stupid Fat Hobbit earlier. I thought you weren't allowed to do speculation videos because you know what's coming in 2024, or did that change? Yes, and in case you missed it, Stupid Fat Hobbit, I'll explain it for you. It's pretty simple. Right before Arcade1Up changed over, after John D was let go, and after they removed Scott Bacharach as CEO, Travis showed me a list of games that was provided to him by John D on what Arcade1Up would do for 2024. That list got leaked. I still didn't really talk about it until I found out from Arcade1Up they're not doing most of those games anyways, so it didn't really matter anymore. So I literally know this much right now, a little nugget, and I don't know any of the titles so far they're coming out with this year. None of my normal sources, which I usually tell not to tell me, have told me anything. Nothing from the retailers. I don't know what's going on. So yeah, I can speculate, brother. And then, of course, Messiah's Gaming was down here, and he backed it up. It's not a speculation video if he's talking on other people's opinions or speculation. And Doug Dog, he backs that up. Let's speculate the speculation. Let's go. Cornercade says, let's go, Michael B. You got to get that trademark, Cornercade. Someone's going to steal that. I saw someone in the Stern stream earlier said, let's go. That could have been you. Jason says, I heard Arcade1Up will only release rehashes this year in the XL format. Some of us think that's a really good idea. I'm not going to lie to you. Calvin Wong's here. Nice to see you, Calvin. John Kelman says Arcade1Up will sell the shit out of Pac-Man, Galaga, Street Fighter, and Mortal Kombat this year. Yeah, I'll give you some early leads on that. And sorry if I'm popping as I talk into the microphone. I kind of hear it there now. But yeah, so where Arcade1Up is with that is, from what I understand, when they signed their agreements with those companies to release those games, it wasn't a one-time agreement. There's promises in those agreements that they're going to have year-over-year returns on sales. So, yes, we're tired of the rehashes, but they also have agreements, which means they have to keep making the rehashes because they have promises to these companies or else they lose the license. So, yeah, they're going to keep doing that. When we get into the financial statement that they released, and it wasn't them actually, because this is the confusing part. Everybody said that Yahoo Financial News was done by Arcade1Up. It wasn't, so we'll come back to that. But some of that information in there may not make the community very happy, and you know what? I agree. We've also got Sir Tater Slayer. Haters must have nothing better to do in this cold than to come up with reasons why Arcade1Up won't be successful. Still crossing my fingers for XL Cabs. Yeah, man, I mean, without a lot of Arcade1Up news, a lot of these drama channels and stuff, they're focusing on other companies and trying to cause controversy with creators. Who can blame them? I mean, they're desperate for views. This is all a game to them, so who cares? Porta Dream says, good evening, everyone. Good to see you, Porta Dream. Andy's Game Room says, Menoculture, we meet again. Thank you so much for being here, Andy. Galaga Guy 88, always good to see you, Galaga Guy. Chaotic BPR, I told you, Danny, you had to trademark it. He says, let's go. Sorry, guys, I got a bit of a cough tonight. I always do. Orion's Dreams here. Hey, guys, it's Mike. It's me. It's Mike. 19K Fox says, my intros are longer. Well, I don't know what to tell you. It's not the length of the race. It's just whether or not you get to the finish line. Fox, you should know this. Video Game Vegas is here. Greetings, Michael B. Greetings, Video Game Vegas. Who else we got here? Bill's Retro Gaming Show. Good to see you, Bill. Always a pleasure to have you in the chat. El Capitan. How's the pinball fun going? Not good, man. Well, I was lucky enough that I managed to sell my Dungeons & Dragons pinball finally. I sold it for much less than I hoped. I was hoping to get $6,500 for it. I eventually ended up selling it for $4,700 Canadian, so still about $6,000 away from being able to buy a Pro Stranger Things. So a lot of work to still do. You know, I am going to sell off my 3DS game collection. I'm going to try to move a couple things out, and I'm just going to have to wait. Cool thing was, I talked to my wife about it. She's totally fine. Just have to wait, save up the money. So hopefully April, May, still available, and I can get one. Cleveland Gaming Classic, good to see ya. I'm sure you're in the midst of already planning next year's event. JJ says, 1/6 scale pinball games. Yeah, we're going to be talking about it soon, and it's going to be wild. Clement Rousseau says, Mini Pin, can't wait. Sorry if I butchered your name, brother. Conti's here. Conti, my good buddy from the Ontario region. Sorry for doxing you. Mini Pins, very cool, I hope. Yeah, from talking to Shiloh, they're not going to half-ass anything. This is going to be mechanical. I'm almost 100% sure of it. Console Kit says, I think we can trace back the rumors to its source. I heard most of them from Michael. Most of the rumors are coming from John D. Console Kits, tell the truth. Decadent Dave says, was late from P-Dub's stream going over. Oh, no worries. P-Dub's, I got to give him a bunch of credit, man. Honestly, he is the most polished home arcade streamer in this space. I checked out his video earlier, and he had this actual preview video, because you can do previews for live streams. I'm always too lazy. I never do them. So P-Dubs did this intro, and it was like something from a TV show. It was so well produced. And I really got to step up my game. I mean, P-Dubs is killing us here. Thumper Squid says, raid from the loft. Thank you so much, P-Dubs, for sending people over. I just had to read this. I heard a rumor that the Cowboys suck. Guys, come on. Be nice to 19K Fox here. That's not fun. Doug Schneider says, loft raid. Deadly McMahon Mike, raid from the loft. Marine 80 raid. Oh, it's my buddy Stock Jock. Hello, Michael B. Looking forward to the show. I take everything you say literally. Well, I wouldn't take everything I say literally. I can only tell you what I know, and you use that information to the best of your abilities. Here from the loft, Jim the Pacers fan says, raid. I gotta tell you a funny story. The first time I was ever streaming, I used to do these Wednesday and Friday night gameplay streams. I still do them from time to time. This Game & Watch with Michael B. And I used to play classic NES games and stuff like that, Super Nintendo retro games. And the very first time anybody ever streamed my thing, they were like, we're here for a raid. And I didn't know what it was. And I was like, wait a minute, you're here to take my viewers? That seems like a shitty thing to do. I was so confused. Cleveland Gaming Classic says, good to see you doing well, Mike. Sorry, been away for a while. Finally able to catch my breath again. Thank you for everything you did. Cleveland Gaming Classic was amazing. I had such a good time. Looking forward to getting back sometime again soon, Tom. Marine 50 says, black hole. Yeah, that's what we think it is, looking at the back box. Scott B's here. Good to see you, Scott. Nooner, Chris, NX, NW. It definitely won't be, but I'm wishing the New Wave Toys Pinball to be 79 Kiss. Yeah, that would be amazing. AZ Arcade says, sorry, off topic. Have you ordered the G.I. Joe hardcover omnibus from 3D Joe's? It's over 700 pages and weighs more than 20 pounds. I didn't even know about it. I got to look into that. I have the G.I. Joe re-releases from the old Marvel comics. I don't know if you remember them, all the way back from like 2005. So I have like the first 100 issues of G.I. Joe in those paperbacks. I should show you sometime. Thor KC, I think they are making real backglass using V-Pin playfield. If so, it's going to be really good. I'm super excited. Real mechanical pinball. I'm sure of it. Let's start really terrible disappointment tomorrow when it's virtual pinball. Big B73, Mike, I always wondered how you come up with your GameGenie name. Well, it's a weird story. Back when I first started watching YouTube and wanted to get involved in the retro gaming community, I was watching just really small number of guys. I was watching like my buddy EdT1138, The Game Chasers, Clan of the Grey Wolf. I don't know if you guys ever watched him. He does a show called, or used to, called 16-Bit Gems, dealing with 16-bit RPGs. Amazing show. Anyways, one of the show I watched was Pat the NES Punk, and he talked about his name and how he did Pat the NES Punk, and it was some kind of weird alliteration. Well, I was thinking about, I wanted to do something that kind of rhymed, that would be kind of fun, and I said Michael B. the Game Genie, so it kind of rhymes. And growing up, I had a Game Genie. I was the only kid in my area that actually had one. I made the terrible mistake before I fell in love with RPGs of choosing for my birthday to use my birthday money to actually buy a Game Genie over buying Final Fantasy. So I had this Game Genie, and I was kind of known for it, so that seemed like a good name. It turned out to be a terrible thing, because people would always tune into my videos, and they were like, your show sucks. You never use the Game Genie. Scott B says, Arcade1Up relies too much on Walmart to just release XL and Deluxe cabs. Arcade1Up hasn't relied on Walmart for years. Arcade1Up's main distributors have been Best Buy and Shop Hippo, so we'll talk about that a little bit later. Red Baron Arcade says, I think that would keep them afloat for a while, converting mostly to XLs. Yeah, I think so too. All right, making sure I got everybody. Biggie says, hola, Michael B. Hola. Red Baron Arcade says, this company should sell the arcade to a community of enthusiasts, entrepreneurs, like how the Green Bay Packers are owned by the fans. I said this once before. If I owned Arcade1Up, I'd do some wild and crazy shit and we'd be out of business in a week. Michael B. Brandon. Let's go, Brandon. All right. Have I got everybody? I think so. Louis P. Not the 3DS collection. I'm gonna keep. I have a 2DS XL that has Mario Kart 3DS on it, and I think I'm gonna keep Legend of Zelda: Link Between Worlds. Other than that, everything's got to go. It's a clearance sale. It's a fire sale. Everything's got to go out of my house. Toys, collectibles, everything, so I can get my new pinball machine. All right, Gotham City Arcade. I saw you earlier. What's going on, brother? Jason, you didn't have to do that. Got an update on your revamped arcade plans. Oh, yeah. So nothing's happened yet, Jason. I'm in the process. I'm waiting to get my ALP 4KP. Once that gets here, I'm going to take these out. All these XL cabs, they're going to go down in my arcade space. Still in the process of trying to sell off a lot of my toys and collectibles to free up the space. But I've got one wall set up right now where I can put these arcades down. So that's going to go down there. I just narrowly missed buying one arcade, but I'll show you two. Let me bring them up here that I'm eyeing right now. They're not XLs. I'm still hoping that XLs come out, but I had a near miss last night that I didn't need. Absolutely did not need and did not really want, but FOMO almost got the best of me. So let me bring up my Twitter and I'll show you this last night. Thankfully, I got some advice from Retro Ralph and Stringer Films, who told me I was an idiot, and I did not buy them. But let's see if I can bring it up. Yeah, here it is. So here's the advice Stringer Films gave me. I'll just play it for you here now. Oh, wait a minute. I pressed the wrong screen. That was the motivation not to buy it, but if you check my Twitter and Facebook last night, you would have saw this. Last night at the Brick, there was a one-night only flash sale on Arcade1Up Time Crisis, and before you say $6.99 is not a sale, remember, that's Canadian. So this is regularly $8.99.95, and like it was one of those moments where I saw the sale, I started reaching for my wallet, and I was like, what are you doing, man? You idiot. You're not even that big a Time Crisis fan. You don't need to buy it because it's on sale. So I avoided the FOMO, managed to avoid the FOMO with that, but it was close. And I will just show you now another one that is still on sale, thankfully. And this one is close to being done, but I am waiting to. I'm waiting to see. I'm really hoping for an XL version. I'd rather have an XL version, but. Let me just go down and find this out here now. Whoop. Here it is. So I talked about this being on sale on Amazon a couple weeks ago. It's gone off Amazon, but luckily some eagle-eyed people told me it's still on sale, still through Spreetail, through Walmart. It's $40 more. It's not $4.98 anymore, but it's still $5.38 Canadian, which works out to be about $70 more than $2.99 US. So you know what? This is still on the horizon. I miss playing Street Fighter Online with people, so I'm still thinking about this. The problem is the looming pinball. I can't buy everything. But yeah, that's the plan. I know I've been going a long time, guys. Sorry, I'm just trying to get through the comments. Why is it when people say let's go, they're usually sitting on their ass? I have no idea. All right. Toxin, good to see you. Interesting poll. Thank you very much. Jeff Walsh was here. I saw your smiley sign earlier. Nice to see you. Screw Attack. I actually watched a lot of RetroWare TV. I didn't really get into Screw Attack right away. I did have my video featured a couple times on Screw Attack. Some videos I put up myself. It was actually a big thing for me back in the day. Like, I had a period of a couple of weeks on RetroWare TV. You used to be able to put community content, and some of my reviews got picked as the reviews of the week, and it went back and forth. One week it was me, then it was GameSack, then it was me, and then it was GameSack. GameSack went on to do great things, and here I am with you guys tonight. So you can see how that went. And I did get my video featured on Screw Attack a couple times, so pretty cool. Robert, good to see you, my man. You ever heard of Galloping Ghost Arcade? I was there not last September, but the September before. We went to the big iArcade Game and Brew night, and we spent the day before that in Galloping Ghost. We really split one day between Galloping Ghost, arcade, and pinball. We're planning on going back to Chicago for the Pinball Expo next year, doing another Galloping Ghost trip, and this time you need at least a full day, if not more, in Galloping Ghost to really experience it. So, Mike, I'm excited for your Arcade 2.0. I am too. I just got to get the rest of the shit moved out. We're in the process right now, just getting everything out of our house, clearing it out. I should have a game room tour for you guys pretty soon. I mean, there's not that much to see. It's this room plus my big game room downstairs that used to be my living room. So I'll share that and then share some more of my plans for what I'm going to do with my arcade in a little while. Where's Gorf? I don't know. David Neartout, I'm sorry if I said that wrong. Maybe Arcade1Up will make a large version of Comp 4. I don't know what that is. I'm sorry. All right. Joe Kuroa, nice to see you, Joe. All right, guys, I think I'm caught up. Oh, I'm out of sync again, guys. I am so sorry. This happens all the time lately. Let me go into my audio. Shit. I don't know why I'm out of sync, guys. Auto cancellation and noise suppression turned off. No idea, guys. Very sorry. Biggie says, time to sell a kidney. Oh, I thought about it. I don't know. It's a stupid program, Restream. I got to stop using it and just go back to using OBS because I am literally just doing everything I normally do. Brooklyn Menace, good to see you, brother. Gallagher Guy, $1.99 super chat. With us tonight, doing even greater things. Hey, thank you very much, Gallagher Guy. Yes, I have heard John D. rumors. We will talk about that tonight, actually. Kevin Clausen, thank you very much for the super chat. Now I'm in sync. Now it's fine now. Thank goodness. I don't know what the hell is going on. Goddamn Restream. Restream hates me. All right, so Mystic Eevee, last comment. Caught up. P-Dubs Arcade Lofts here. Thank you very much, P-Dubs. They're definitely going out of business, no doubt about it, when they can't stay afloat right now for the life of them. They can't afford new licenses and having a hard time paying off their current ones. If you've got information, I don't got Mystic Eevee, I'd love to see it. Feel free to throw it up in the link. If you got proof, very cool. Any solid news on MK? So, really quickly, I'm going to start there. I'll tell you about that. So, a couple days ago, Robert Foxworth threw a picture up in our group chat that showed this red MK symbol. So, anyways, we said, is this a new MK? What is it? I actually reached out to Travis and Cyrus, and I said, hey guys, this image is popping up. There's probably going to be some speculation about a new MK cab. What can you tell me about it? And Travis said, I have no idea. Then Cyrus said, oh, we'll be watching for the speculation. No one told me shit. So then I assumed, because they didn't say anything, maybe there was a possibility we were getting a new MK cab. Hopefully they had common sense enough to make an XL. But I did say in the video very clearly, there's a very real possibility that this is just the Classic Edition line. Turns out, very first comment, and I told people, debunk me if it's true, because I don't know. And Thor KC actually threw it up in the comment, and he said, sadly enough, it is the Classic Edition line. Arcade1Up calls it the peasant version. So there it was. Unfortunately, what should be a no-brainer, make an MKXL, isn't what was coming up. So that sucked. Anyways, that'll tell you how much I know. I thought there was an MKXL coming. So there it is. So let's talk about all these rumors going around in the community. I do want to be clear here. I'm not trying to pick on anybody or say shit or anything like that about anybody tonight, but I do just want to address some of the rumors and some of the stuff going around because there's some wild stuff. If you haven't had a chance yet, I ask you to go to the poll, take a vote. Right now we're sitting at, close that ads thing. We don't need that. So which rumor do you believe is most likely of some of the rumors going around in the community right now? Arcade1Up will be sold in 2024. It's sitting at 27%. Arcade1Up only releasing classic cabs, which means the $2.99 peasant cabs. In case you're misreading that, that's not a re-release thing. Classic cabs is the $2.99 peasant cabs. That's at 34%. That's leading the poll. Arcade1Up going out of business is at 14%. And no new licenses for games in 2024 is at 25%. So we'll see how this goes. Lots of haters and doomsayers. Oh, yeah. Yeah, we'll get into that too. Thor KC, the owner of the Peasantcade and the person kind enough to be the first to debunk me in the comments to that video, I reserve the right to call it Peasantcade when I paid what I could have got me. I know. I felt so bad. There was people online saying, is this a good deal paying $2.99? I was like, what are you doing, man? You can buy the XL, the Deluxe for $2.99 right now. Donovan Kingle says, I don't believe any of those rumors from the poll. Smart man. So, I want to start this show. And, yeah, I thought a couple people might do that, Scott B. It's hard because you only get so many words to put in there, but classic cabs aren't re-releases. That is the rumor going around right now that Arcade1Up is only releasing the $2.99 Walmart jobbies. So, no, not re-releases. That's the $2.99 Walmart jobbies. So, even though we're at the halfway mark, a little after actually. Oh yeah, I did see about this. Best Buy fire sale on Simpsons for $139. Let me tell you right now, I really like that cabinet. It was on sale here in Canada last year during Black Friday for $3.99. I thought that was a really good deal. If you can get it for $139, now keep in mind you can just play it on a multicade. Like if you only want to play the game, I mean, throw it on a multicade or throw it on a PC and use it with a controller. But if you're interested in having the nostalgia of a facsimile of the original cab, you collect Arcade1Ups. That's a no-brainer. $139. There's a lot of value there playing Simpsons Online and playing Simpsons Bowling. So there you go. That's a little touchy. I wouldn't use that one tonight. So anyways, guys, the first thing I want to say is I'm starting to get a little concerned about you guys. I've said it for the last little while. It seems like a lot of people in the community have been very gullible lately. Like you're listening to people without any proof. Like you just go along with what they're saying. And I think that comes from a place where right now Arcade1Up's not talking. There's no news from Arcade1Up. They didn't do CES. We don't know what the hell they're doing. They're not really doing any videos. They're not releasing any news. They're not talking to anybody. Arcade1Up's kind of dead silent. So it's creating a lot of rumors and speculation in the community. Oh, obviously they're going out of business. They don't have any games, blah, 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 blah. It's gotten so bad that this past week, someone released a video. It was going to be an event video. Some people thought it was going to be a live stream where they said they were going to be unveiling the 2024 lineup. Let me just play that for you here now. This was Twisted Chris this past week. Now, Twisted Chris obviously was having fun with you guys. In the thumbnail, he had a Guitar Hero there. He had all kinds of ridiculous stuff. But here's the crazy thing. A lot of you guys in the community were like, oh man, I can't wait to see what he's showing. Even my buddy Atul, who I said, Atul, this is not real. He was like, yeah, but I want to see what he has to say. What games do you think? Obviously, this was not real. Now, I'm not going to be a big dickhead and come out and go on every post and tell people. I just let it play out, but I knew this wasn't real. But there were people making Reddit posts, people making posts all over the Facebook posts. Everybody thought it was real. They thought this guy was going to have the new CEO when there's not even a CEO at Arcade1Up on the show to unveil these cabs. And it was a total joke, and everybody was really upset. But that comes from a place right now where people are so desperate, so, obviously desperate to get news. They wanted to see something, so they were willing to accept this. There were people actually making posts saying, oh my God, Arcade1Up got Guitar Hero. So that's what I'm a little bit concerned about. And that's where I wanted to start this show tonight was to talk about the fact that, I mean, obviously this was a massive troll job, but I am so surprised at the amount of people that took this as 100% legit, tuned in expecting to see a real event and to see a real lineup of cabs released. That's how desperate people are for news, that they're willing to believe anything at this point. So every rumor that goes out there seems to be automatically true. I don't know what the hell is going on, but that's where we're to. So I thought it would be fun tonight to take a look at some of the other rumors out there in the community, stuff people are saying, and kind of look at what's real, what's not real, what's kind of real, and what's complete bullshit. And let's go through those now. I think people suspected it was fake, but hoped, but it wasn't. Sarcastic Justin strikes again. Considering they got Killer Instinct, which Microsoft now owns, I wouldn't be surprised if they somehow do Guitar Hero, as Microsoft owns Activision Blizzard. Well, Microsoft are actually working with Act Games right now, so I don't know if they're going to work with Arcade1Up anymore. And the problem with Guitar Hero isn't so much the game as it is all the different musical licenses. Like, there's just no way, even Arcade1Up at its prime wouldn't have the money to go out and get all those licensed songs put on those cabinets. So, there you go. MichaelB, thank you, Evil Genius Entertainment. All right, so the first one I want to address is the classic cab. So this is a one that's really piped up out of nowhere this past week. I've seen it over Reddit. I've seen it over Facebook. Actually, the funny thing was, I don't know if I got the post up here, Biggie D actually shared his own Reddit post that people were making about him, saying there's some really good conversation going on here now. So what Biggie D says and what they're reporting on is Biggie D thinks Walmart peasant cabs are all we get in 2024. So that's what he's been promoting. I never watched his video. I think it's actually listed down here. So if you want to, you can scroll down and take a look at it. You can just search it and stuff like that. So anyways, Biggie D thinks Walmart peasant cabs are all we're going to get. His exact comment was, instead of seeing Mortal Kombat XL, it'll just be Mortal Kombat Classics at Walmart, and suggests Walmart is deciding what Arcade1Up becomes, just which reiterates the problem with getting new cabs and bigger sizes lies primarily with the retailers. What else did he say? They're going to eliminate 3 of those 5 products, cabinet form factors, out of their planning for 2024. Just going to focus on what's inexpensive, low risk, high reward. This is something that he's been preaching for a while, too. And that's going to be their smaller, less expensive products. That's not a bad concept when it comes to business. I'm sure about that. But here's the thing. If Arcade1Up only dealt with Walmart, this would be a pretty sound theory, to be honest. There's a grain of truth to what he's saying here. The reason Arcade1Up even makes the classic cabs is because that's what Walmart's asking them to make. Walmart's coming to them and saying, hey, we really like these $2.99 cabs. We feel that's an effective price point. We can put them on the shelves. People will still impulse buy at that price point. So that's the reason they still make the classic cabs. Not because Arcade1Up wants to or wants to come out with a different price point. It's because Walmart's asking him to. So he's 100% accurate with that comment. His other comments about Arcade1Up going with inexpensive, low risk, high reward is also incredibly accurate. I mean, you take a look at what Arcade1Up did last year, and we're going to take a look at that financial report, and you're going to see a lot of the same in there. So that's a good comment. The problem with the rest of it is Arcade1Up doesn't just deal with Walmart. Walmart is actually a weird animal right now. From conversations I've had with Arcade1Up, I've also had with Act Games, Walmart's completely different. They got a new purchaser there now. It's a whole new arrangement compared to when Arcade1Up first came into the market. So Arcade1Up is not the primary retailer that, Walmart is not the primary retailer that Arcade1Up answers to. Here's where it gets interesting. Arcade1Up also works with Best Buy. They also work with Shop Hippo, which is as seen on TV, and they also have a relationship with Costco. So I can't speak on what Best Buy wants. I can't speak on what Shop Hippo wants, but Arcade1Up's main product line is the 3/4 scale cabs. From everything I'm hearing, that might be fine for Walmart, but that has nothing to do with Best Buy, Shop Hippo, or Costco. And I will openly tell you, the focus on Costco and the club stores is predominantly XL cabs. I did a show a couple weeks ago, I think it was on the New Year's show, and I did mention that Arcade1Up have already met with Costco about their lineup for 2024, and I said it didn't go well. But let me clarify that, just so people understand. What I heard was it didn't go well. That doesn't mean Costco's not happy with the arrangement with Arcade1Up, despite what people are trying to say about the $2.99 clearance sales on some of the Pac-Man cabs. Costco was very happy. They ordered 13,000 Pac-Man cabs, and not that many were clearance for $2.99. They're very happy with the relationship. Arcade1Up will be selling more XL cabs through Costco in 2024. The only problem is, and this is where I said it didn't go well, from what I hear, Arcade1Up went in with a XL cab that I think the community would really like, and then the people at Costco were too stupid to see that, and then suggested they make something shitty. So there is going to be XLs in 2024. The other side of that is I had a conversation on text with Cyrus and Travis the other day where we talked about the Twisted Chris stream. This is 100%, it was just laughed about. Cyrus was like, I don't know what this is, but I'm going to be watching. And, one of the things I asked him, I said, as long as there's XLs in 2024, I'm a happy dude. And he said, don't worry, XLs are coming. So, as for this comment, there's some truth to it. I mean, with every good rumor, there's going to be a grain of truth. So, yeah, there's truth to what Biggie D is saying. Walmart wants, these classic cabs, the little $2.99 peasant cabs, but Walmart's not the only retailer they're working with. We're going to come back to this comment a little bit later, too, because when we go over the financial report, I'm going to tell you why some stuff is kind of bummer too. I did want to laugh a little bit, and not so much at Biggie D's expense, but this guy Dolphins41 threw a comment up there. Has he ever been right about anything? Well, I don't know. He did bring up this crazy comment a while back where he was talking about the Street Fighter 2 Deluxe, and he said all the Street Fighter 2 Deluxe cabinets coming out are going to have those mismatched colored panels. And he was so dead set on it. And then the first Street Fighter Deluxe cabs came out, and they actually fixed the issue. It wasn't as bad as it previously was. It was still a little bit off. Let's call a spade here. But it wasn't the same color mismatch that we saw at, in Vegas for the Fighting Championships Evo. And then he doubled down, and he was like, no, it's good to see they fixed it. But still, the first 2,000 still have that mismatched deck. No one to this day has got one with that mismatched deck, so it's kind of funny. Anyways, I'm not saying Biggie D has bad information here. I think Biggie D does have a source with Arcade1Up. I don't think that person works with Arcade1Up anymore. I think that person is no longer working with Arcade1Up. I think it's John D, and I think John D is telling him a load of weird stuff. So I don't know where we go. Anyways, let's take that down. For the classic cabs, guys, yeah. No, Arcade1Up is not only going to be releasing peasant cabs in 2024, they're going to be releasing XLs, they're going to be releasing deluxes, but it might not be what you want. So let's go on to the next one. Arcade1Up is going out of business. I don't know where this is coming from. I do and I don't. So back in the days when we were towards the end of iArcade, it was kind of tough because a lot of us had some concerns about iArcade, the quality of the games they were releasing, the fact they weren't making any more cabs, and we brought these up red flags. And I see other people's signs as well. Other people are saying it as well. There's some red flags with Arcade1Up as well. Like, you look at it, they're not releasing new games. The new titles they're releasing are very limited. They're coming out with all these cabs that are rehashes. They're not really doing much. And the fact that they're skipping CES. So I will admit with you guys, yeah, absolutely, there's some red flags. There's certainly reason for conversation that maybe Arcade1Up is in a bad spot financially. Now, I will be very honest with you. They gotta be. Because a couple of years ago, 2022, Arcade1Up had a really bad year. I mean, they bet big. Like, we're talking, they bet the bank on Blitz being a huge success. They put so much money into it. You look at all the stools they produce, you look at all the cabs they produce, that was money they put up front, and they bet heavy on Blitz. Put it out to the retailers with guarantees that it would sell at a certain point, and then there was buybacks. And not buybacks, but the way it works is, say for example, I'm Sam's Club, and I have these Arcade1Ups that I think I'll be able to sell at $600. Then if I had to sell them at $200, Sam Club then goes back to Arcade1Up and say, well, you owe us $200 per unit for the discount we had to give. So not only did Arcade1Up underperform with Blitz, they ended up losing a lot of the money they made from the retailers. So it was like a horrific situation. Marvel vs. Capcom, kind of a mistake too. They didn't have online ready for either of those games. It was a bad year for Arcade1Up. There's a lot of stupid things that happened. But that put them in a very bad situation. It took them from being like an upper echelon company all the way back down to being a potential like startup. I mean, they're trying to do things now, same as they would first year, get off the ground, because they got completely wiped out over the NFL Blitz situation. There you go. I would not doubt it, P-dubs. I'll be 100% honest with you. I know the number was like gigantic, and I think they had to. I think the NFL licensing was so expensive. The players' licensing was so expensive. The only way it made sense was they had to go big or go home. So there you go. I mean, Blitz. If you want to look at what potentially put this company in a downward spiral where, they're not as successful as they once were, it's Blitz. That's the truth of it. Me personally, I look at it and I'm like, you're a company that sells nostalgia. You released a game with no nostalgia. You took out a lot of the nostalgia from it. Then you gave us artwork on the side that had nothing to do with the arcade game. You weren't selling nostalgia. There you go. I wonder who at 1UP caused the Blitz problem. It's clear. Yeah, there you go. I'm still holding out for an XFL cab. Yeah, it was more fun when the XFL wasn't back and owned by The Rock. Like when it was the XFL, the original XFL that lasted 1 year. Blitz was an egg layer. The shitty thing is, it's still fun. Like, I had a bunch of fun, but of course, I bought that cab at like bargain basement price right out of the gate here in Canada. I think I bought it for $4.99 on a Black Friday sale. And that $4.99 Canadian, guys, that's pretty low. People were buying them at $1.99 from, Sam's Club, like, right away. Like, man, it just sucked. Like, it killed Arcade1Up. Still a fun game, but not having the online, all the mistakes they made with Blitz. What can you say? There you go. Yeah, there you go. I feel like Arcade1Up doesn't profit much if everything has to go on clearance. Nothing sells out full price besides MVC2. It all depends on the agreement that they make with the retailer. I don't know every retailer's agreement that they make with Arcade1Up. Some have this buyback where the retailer demands that they get a discount back on the stuff. Not everybody does. I don't know how it works. $4.99 super chat from Gallagher Guy. People have compared things with 1UP right now to iArcade before its end. What are your thoughts? Do you see similarities? Well, thank you very much for the super chat. I do. I do in a lot of senses. I understand where it's coming from. We looked at iArcade. We looked at the messaging from John. They're not making new cabs. The game releases were really, really weird. They stopped communicating with the community. So looking at those things right there, Arcade1Up not communicating with the community right now. Like, they're kind of silent. Didn't go to CES. There's some concern about where they are financially. I mean, the same thing came up. The funny thing was the notice about Arcade1Up, about iArcade having this huge debt that they had to repay actually came from John D. He was the one telling YouTubers to go out and post that out. I wasn't in that group. But he was, like, the YouTubers making videos about iArcade owing money and iArcade going out of business, the ones that were going really hard. That was coming from John D, a lot of it. I don't know, he's a weird guy. So I understand people in the iArcade community's frustration, and I understand that there's some similarities and red flags. But what I do find a little bit funny, and I'm going to be honest with you guys here now, the same people that were complaining about the people making videos about the problems with iArcade are now turning around and saying, well, Arcade1Up's out of business, and they're wanting Arcade1Up to go out of business. So there's a lot of tribalism that goes on with this home arcade community, and I find it so weird, right? Because I've always been, hey, I can play Arcade1Up, I can play At Games, I can play iArcade, I can play New Wave Toys, I don't care. I like it all. I don't belong to one company. I don't understand tribalism. Like even wrestling, some Mike of all trades here, if he's still here, he'll understand this. There's no point to tribalism. Like, I don't care. I'm not brand loyal to anything. If something's good, I'll watch it. If something's good, I'll play it. So I don't really get the tribalism that goes on there. So a lot of the people that were upset about people making videos, commenting on iArcade going out of business, are now turning around and starting this huge movement that like Arcade1Up's going out of business and they deserve it. So weird. Guys, there you go. Yes, that's the thing. Like, honestly, the best thing that can happen, why we're so excited about these rumors about New Wave Toys possibly doing a 3/4 scale cab, another company coming out of the woodwork, Glenn working with an unnamed company, maybe to do another cab, Unico coming back and doing the Nova Blast. That's good. More is good. More opportunities, more stuff. So, anyways, there we go. Yes, Bill, great point. Never understood it. So, from there, there's a lot of red flags, but one of the things that I did a video on a couple days ago was this report that came out. Once again, thank you very much, Kevin Clausen, for sending this. Alliance Entertainment's Kokum gaming division exceeds sales forecast for Arcade1Up products in 2023. Now, when I read this, I'm going to be honest. Really quickly, I've got to answer this question. Do you think Metroid 4 gets released this year? No, not at all. Thanks again, Kevin. So when I read this, I didn't understand at the time. So here's the thing. A lot of people saw me post this, and their response was, well, that's just Arcade1Up trying to save face or trying to create this atmosphere and fake hype that they're in a good place because they're in such a bad place. And then I know Goofyfoot, I don't know if you're here tonight, Goofyfoot, but you mentioned, I think it was Goofyfoot, mentioned at the bottom, for investor inquiries, please contact MZ Group. And you were like, any company that's fine, like they wouldn't be asking for investments. So I'm going to clarify this. This article was actually not written and developed by Arcade1Up tastemakers. This took me a lot of understanding. Guys, give me a break. I'm a slow guy. I'm not real smart. So this article is actually from a separate company, which is Alliance Entertainment. So I don't know if I still got their website open here. Yeah, I do. So Alliance Entertainment, Kokum is the distributor, but I mean, they're a distributor for tons of brands. They don't own Arcade1Up. They don't, work for Arcade1Up. This is a separate company. So this separate company that, sells PlayStation, Xbox, Nintendo, there's a look at all the brands they sell. Like, these are not companies that belong to Kokum. Activision, Corsair, I just bought a bunch of Corsair stuff. New power supply, new RAM for my PC. One of the reasons that my pinball budget is in the shitter right now, I had to buy a new oven and had to try to fix up my PC. So there you go. Anyways, the article was actually this company, a separate company, congratulating Arcade1Up on the success they had. So there's a couple things to unpack here from this. One is this is not something that Arcade1Up paid to have sent out to save face or to look for investors. This is, for some reason, Alliance Kokum put this out. And, maybe Arcade1Up helped them get it up. I don't know all the details. But anyways, the distributor Kokum and Alliance Entertainment were very happy with the way they were moving Arcade1Up cabs. So this inventory, it's not even talking about Arcade1Up's inventory levels. They're talking about Kokum's inventory levels as a distributor for the company. So, a couple things that we got to understand from this. So, everybody's saying, oh, Arcade1Up, again, fourth quarter, they sold everything discounted, how much money they make. This doesn't really tell us anything. This just tells us the inventory levels Kokum had. And Kokum was happy with the sales. I don't know how this relates to Arcade1Up. I don't know the financial position Arcade1Up is in. With Kokum talking up the Infinity game table like they are, I mean, that's not my favorite product. I don't know what to say about that. So, anyways, this financial statement that I brought up on my show and I talked about the other day, I think it's a good thing. I think Kokum as a distributor is going to be very interested in continuing working with Arcade1Up. They seem very happy with the relationship. They seem very happy with the way they've moved units out and they've dwindled their inventory. I know that's been a big stopping point with a couple businesses. There's a guy, Jamie Loken, that used to be involved here in the community. He only messages me now when somebody makes a shitty video about me. I keep telling him, man, I'm like, I don't care. I don't care what they say. They're idiots. I don't give a shit. But anyways, he messages me all the time to tell me people made videos about me. Jamie used to work for a distributor, and they lost their shirts over Arcade1Up. They couldn't move stuff. So, looking at this, at least Kokum, from their distribution side, they're happy with the way things are moving. Now, did Arcade1Up make money in the fourth quarter? Was it profitable? I don't know. They definitely sold a bunch of units. I mean, where was it? They brought their inventory down from 54.3 million down to 17.4. So, they sold about $36.9 million worth of units, and that's including additional 20 million brought in. So, I mean, they sold $56.9 million worth of products. I think my math might be hazy. So, I mean, that's a lot of money moving around. I don't know how much everybody else did. James Hates Everything, $5 super chat. Thank you very much, James. It tells us Arcade1Up got 20 million in revenue this year from sales to Kokum, and that Kokum had a massive glut of prior year models sitting around. That's possible. That's 100% possible. Thank you very much, James. I appreciate it. So anyways, that's what we know. But I do want to take some things away from this. I don't know if this tells us whether or not they're in a good position financially or something like that. It's just, I think that their sales picked up. I think distributors are interested in them. So I don't think they're going out of business. I will admit there's some flags, there's some concerns, but I don't think they're going to go out of business. What I do want to talk about from this is some concerns I have from this, because if Arcade1Up was successful last year with the strategy they implied, it's exactly what BD talked about in his article. Not so much the classic cabs, but Arcade1Up is being very savvy business-wise. They're not making investments in new titles. I mean, say, for example, everybody has been asking Arcade1Up to do Mortal Kombat 4 for the longest time. So if they did Mortal Kombat 4, they don't just take the ROM and then port it onto their stuff. They basically have to completely re-engineer it, which means there's development costs, there's research and development costs. Then on top of that, Mortal Kombat 4 is not going to run on their shitty chipset they have. So they have to go out and they have to get a more advanced chipset. And I'm not nostalgic. I don't know what the emulator that runs on. I'm going to say it's the Taurus. I don't know. People that are more intelligent than me can tell me what the arcade emulator is for Mortal Kombat 4, but they have to find a commercially available version of that because they can't use an illegal emulator. So there's a bunch of stuff that goes into it. What they did last year, they didn't do any of that work. They did no emulation work. They did no research and development. They took titles they already had, repackaged them in deluxe, put a new splash screen for the UI, and that was it. Put them out the door. And thanks to that, they were successful. So if they were successful doing that, it concerns me a little bit for us here in the community, and I said this in my other video, they might not do things we as a community like, and we might lose interest, but it doesn't mean they're not going to be financially successful. So seeing that this happened in 2023 worries me a lot about 2024, because I think we'll get more of the same. We already know, sorry guys, again, I got to get more water in me. Doug Dog, remind me in a couple minutes about that. We're going to bring that up as well. In Danger Dog, what's happening? So, I just got to remember where I'm to. I got caught up there. So, what I'm trying to say is Arcade1Up had a successful year last year, doing re-releases, not putting any money into new games. There's the grain of truth into Biggie D's rumor there. I'm worried that 2024 will be more the same. Hopefully we'll get some XLs out of it if they're going to do the strategy, because I think there's a lot of people like me that would rather continue to build an XL library than a deluxe library or more 3/4. But for the people that want 3/4, it might be kind of a disappointing year because they're going to keep doing the same thing. They're going to take the games they already have, repackage them, splash new UI on them, put them in the deluxe form factor, which is crazy because it actually saves them money because it's lighter and it's a smaller package. So there's cost savings on shelf space. There's cost savings on shipping. Everything that Biggie D was saying makes sense. The other side of it is, we talked about earlier, the agreements they have. These agreements and the licensing fees they paid were multi-year. They amortize over year to make sense. And every year they've promised these companies like Konami, other companies, that they're going to have year-over-year returns. So very likely in 2024, we may not see new games. You go back to that list that was leaked. I did want to bring that up. Let me bring that up really quickly. I got to see where I put it. There it is. So I do want to show this. Bad guy Mike Worley. Nice guy. Really super nice guy. Love him. Anyways, Mike, he did a video early this year doing the unveil of the list of the stuff coming out. I don't think any of this happening. None of the new games on this might not happen. Like that Neo Geo XL, probably not going to happen. It might be another year like this because they were successful last year doing it. And maybe they need more time to build up their revenue and get back on track. So I don't know if I'm right or wrong, but that financial report could mean that we're getting more of this shit. How is Yahoo still in business? That's a fair point. All right, so I know I've gone a lot longer than I intended. I'm sorry, guys. I got so caught up with talking to everybody. Now, where was it? Doug Dog, you brought this up a couple minutes ago. Can you address the rumors around whether Arcade1Up has lost its licenses and whether John D took their existing licenses with them? People keep saying this. So, there's a funny thing that there's a lot of people in the community that are really close with John and feel like they're on this team with John. And they feel like they can no longer like Arcade1Up because John's not there. It's the weirdest fucking thing, man. Like, and sorry for swearing, but like, say for example, I had a friend and he worked for McDonald's and something bad happened. Or I had a friend and McDonald's screwed him over. They stole his idea for a new burger. You know what? I would feel terrible, but I really like Big Macs, so I'm probably going to keep eating Big Macs. Feel bad for my friend, but I'm not a crazy zealot that's going to turn away for a company because my friend was let go, or my friend, like, if I like a product, I like a product. I can separate the shitty business practices from the product I'm buying. And that's just my opinion on that one. So, everybody's saying right now that John D took the licenses with him. Here's John D on LinkedIn. He's now official on LinkedIn, by the way. So you can see video game and licensing, business development, San Francisco Bay Area. Connection, PK. Interesting. So there you go. There's John D on LinkedIn. And everybody's saying he took the licenses with him. Well, no, he can't take licenses with him. I mean, I don't know what the details are in the agreement that he signed after Justin got him fired, but that's the joke that'll never end. But anyways, I don't know what agreement he signed, but like, you can't just take take licenses. You can't. But what he can do is he could probably make it difficult for them behind the scenes. Apparently, the licensing world is pretty small. And, you know, if, say, for example, Cyrus, who's the new SVP SVP of Arcade1Up, Senior Vice President of Licensing, goes to meet with Konami. Konami might meet with him and then reach out to John and be like, what the hell, man? We just met with Cyrus. You're not there anymore. And then, they have a conversation with John, and maybe there could be some problems there. I don't know. Is John vindictive like that? I don't know. What do you think of John? You tell me if he's vindictive. So I don't know what the deal is there. I can't tell you that. I know that some licensees have left Arcade1Up, and I don't know if it really has much to do with John, or they're not really working with them anymore. I mean, you all would have heard Mel Kirk recently on the Blockade podcast, and he talked about Arcade1Up, and of course, people extrapolated to, oh, he hates Arcade1Up, he wants to see him fail, when all he really said was Arcade1Up wasn't serious about pinball. So obviously they had a bad experience and they were looking for another opportunity. I mean, at the beginning of this year, in some of their information and messaging they put out there, they talked about making their own machines. Then At Games came up and that seemed like a good opportunity, and hopefully that partnership works a lot better. Arcade1Up wasn't serious about pinball. Of course, when we played it, and if it was your first experience with VPN, you're like, hey, this is pretty cool. But once you start playing other stuff, you're like, holy shit, the Arcade1Up pinball isn't as good. There's a lot of things to like about it. The body, the form factor, really comfortable to play. It's a lot taller than the ALP. But when you get down to the actual mechanics and what it does, it's not as good. It just isn't. That's the truth. So hopefully the new experience with At Games and Zen Pinball works out a lot better. Microsoft, I don't know what the deal is with Microsoft. I know Microsoft were the ones that reached out to At Games. That's how that partnership got developed for Microsoft, bringing Killer Instinct, their games to At Games. I don't know if it's because they were unhappy with Arcade1Up, but that stuff happened before John D ended his relationship with Arcade1Up. So the two big things that really happened, I don't know if they have much to do with John D. So the actual licenses that left, I can't say. In terms of them getting future licenses, again, I don't know. The licensing community is apparently very small. People are very close with John D, so that may cause Arcade1Up some problems with licensing. The other thing is, we talked about it earlier, I don't know how much licensing Arcade1Up is looking to do with expanding, because they had a really successful year last year just doing what they were doing. Are they going to do more this year? Is it business savvy to do more when the last time they really tried to reach out and hit a home run, they lost a boatload of cash? It's kind of tough. Well, that's a good point too. Arcade1Up, most people don't care about pinball. That's probably entirely true. I mean, pinball's a pretty niche hobby. You look at some of the guys that are the top guys in pinball, like broadcasting and stuff like that, they don't have a ton of subscribers. They got super loyal viewers. They're awesome. I love watching them. But I mean, it's a very small community. Maybe the interest wasn't there for the mass market that, Arcade1Up expected. Oh, I'm sorry, Zero Sleep. I got to stop using Restream. I got to look at getting back to StreamYard or just doing OBS from now on, because this sucks. I agree. They don't need home runs. They need base hits. So, John is an interesting dude, man. Like, I don't know what to tell you. John is a person that works with a company. He's also really heavily involved in YouTube and hanging out with YouTubers. Like, once John came into Arcade1Up, I mean, he started working with the Retro Buzz originally. Like, they were the official show of Arcade1Up with Cool Toy and with Glenn. I mean, they worked really closely with Glenn. Glenn went to their offices, met with Scott, talked about building a business relationship, and then everything went to hell. I mean, they screwed them. They promised them. They made an agreement. They were going to get all these cabs for working with Arcade1Up, and then they screwed them and then went with 1UP Weekly. I don't think that's 1UP Weekly's fault. I don't think they were involved in it, but Arcade1Up just was like, nah, we got a better deal. We're going to go work with 1UP Weekly. So I think that put a bad taste originally in Glenn's mouth, Haywood's mouth, and also Cool Toy's mouth. And they ended up stopping working with them. So I don't know. There's a lot of stuff behind the scenes that are just so wild, and I'm just like, man, I don't care. I don't want to deal with this stuff. I just want to play the games. Yeah, that's the big takeaway from is Arcade1Up going out of business. Kokum's happy. Kokum was the one that put out the report. If they weren't happy, they wouldn't be. Do I regret the relationship I had with John? No, this is weird, man. Like, it's all business. Like, I like talking to John. John does some messed up stuff, man, sometimes. Like that list that got out there for bad guy Mike Worley and stuff like that. I'm almost 100% sure that John sent that to Stephen Haywood. In fact, I know he did. Because Stephen Haywood was mad at me and he was like, you guys are all gatekeepers. You're trying to stop this list from coming out. Arcade1Up's giving you a spin. And I'm like, I don't know what you're talking about, Stephen. Arcade1Up told me they're not releasing these games. I'm just saying that yes, that's the list, but they're not doing it anymore. That was John's list. So then he sent me a message, and I could clearly see it was John that sent it to him. And he goes, this is my source. And I was like, that's John D. And he told Steven that, like, oh, I don't want to see the same YouTubers get all the shine they normally get. I want to see new guys do it. I'm sick of the same guys being on top all the time. Why is a former company exec, worried about what's going on YouTube? It's all so weird. I like John. I like talking to him. I like talking sports with him and stuff like that. I think he's really good at his job when it comes to licensing. Some of the other stuff he does, man, is just weird. And a lot of people's like, oh, you had this big relationship with John. I don't know what you're talking about. There's a lot of people that were really close with John. They were John's foot soldiers, man. Like, John told them to do something, they would go do it. I'm not that guy. I'll just be honest with you. I never was. Anyways, I don't want to just shit on him, but the truth is, did John take the licenses? Maybe. I think mainly the thing with Arcade1Up and the licenses, I don't know how much they're invested in doing new licenses. The other thing, too, is the business has changed, too. When John was there, from what I understand, one of the reasons Arcade1Up got all the license, locked up all the license, and, made sure other companies didn't get them, is because they were paying massive money. They were overpaying in some instances to get some of these licenses. So now the same company comes back, like Arcade1Up goes to Konami and goes, hey, we want to do game XYZ. And then Konami comes back and goes, yes, okay, it's going to cost you $8 million. And then Arcade1Up is like, yeah, we can't do that. We don't have the sales that we used to. I mean, the market's just not like that anymore. Here's our market numbers. Here's what we're going to do. And here's what we can offer you. So I do think it's not so much that they've lost the licenses. I think it's harder to attract the business because the companies expect the same money and deals they were getting in 2021, 2022, when the market has shifted quite a bit for 2024. There you go. I don't know if you guys are listening to me or you're just talking about shit here. So okay. Anyways, last but not least, I do want to bring up this other one. And let me just find it for you here now. Oh, the other one is, before I do this last one, let's just talk about this. One, going back to the tribalism, where the hell did all this come from? The negativity towards Arcade1Up. Like, I don't know where it's come from. I think, like, obviously we talked about tribalism earlier and stuff like that, but I've noticed it so much more now with, I've noticed it so much more now with all these people going out and making all this tribalism stuff and, like, attacking Arcade1Up. It's almost like low-hanging fruit. It's an easy way to get a bunch of views. You make a video, I sold my 1-ups. Or you make these proclamations like, I'm done with 1-up. And, like, people are making videos. They're getting good views and stuff like that. So the other day when the good financial news came out, I put up the post, hey, good news for Arcade1Up and stuff like that. I want to show you the back and forth that I had on Twitter. I just got to find it here now. So I do want to show you this. So this is the post I put up on Twitter, January 9th. Good news for Arcade1Up and fans. That's the Yahoo financial report Kevin Clausen put up for me. Travis, who works for Arcade1Up, but he's also really invested. Like, even behind the scenes before he worked there, very involved with the ambassador program, loves the product, wants to see it succeed, and, like, kind of takes it personally, all this negativity. He goes, bad news for Arcade1Up YouTube channels. It's good news, so no reason for anybody to make a video about it. And then Retro Ralph who used to be heavily involved with Arcade1Up a long time ago. Before, obviously, things changed with him. He got sick of the way he was working with John D and how close they were with the company and what was expected of them. So he gave it up. But, I mean, obviously, he always had a passion for real arcades and stuff like that. He responds with, "It seems cool to hate on 1UP these days." And that's the truth. It's almost like this weird thing where everybody's just like, I hate 1UP now. They're a terrible company. They suck. Some of that comes from the fact that they've done some shitty stuff. There's no ifs, ands, or buts about that. No around that. Like, you look at how bad they treated Glenn with the relationship they had with Glenn. I mean, they basically stole his Tron stick, the way that it interacts with the stuff. There's a lot of crap with that. They offered him a payoff. Glenn refused to take it. On top of that, I made a video about this. I don't know if this is the right one. The Facebook stuff. I mean, they literally took his Facebook page and made a carbon copy. And, I'm not part of the movement. I stand with Glenn or whatever the fanatics were doing. I love Glenn. I didn't want to see anything wrong with him. I don't understand with creating a cult about it. But I made this video because, and I made people unhappy. I mean, Lewis Chambers wrote me that day and he's like, "I want to come on your show, talk about my new Facebook page." And I was like, "Sorry, man, I'm not doing that." Lewis unfollowed me on Twitter and everything after this because what they were doing was so weird. I mean, they basically copied Glenn's page down to a T. So, they do some messed up stuff, man. But at the same time, do you hate the company because of the actions of a few? And realistically, a lot of those people aren't there anymore. So, I don't know. Everybody seems to hate on. It's the same thing right now. Go back to the wrestling thing with tribalism. AEW's had a bad couple months. I mean, the CM Punk stuff sucks. The news about the backstage rumors. There's a lot of stuff that really makes you feel uncomfortable about the product. So the cool thing right now to do in the wrestling community is to dunk on AEW and say, "Oh, they're shit. They're garbage. They're terrible." And it seems like it's the same thing with Arcade1Up right now. Everybody's dunking on them. And it's just the hip thing. And if that's your thing, man, you do what you want to do. Can we not talk about people that make most of the community uncomfortable? Let's go back to talking about John D. There you go. The whole Facebook group crap was extremely poorly done and very, very unprofessional. 100% agree. What a shit thing to do. That was the dumbest thing to do. Over what? A Facebook page. A Facebook fan page. What companies care about this? No company should be cared about a fan page. Fan page should be off limits. I don't care if it's officially endorsed. Stay away from the Facebook pages. Your job is to run your company. Make good products. Don't get involved with the Facebook pages. Don't try to police what's on there, control the narrative. Just let that stuff happen naturally. It's called a fan page. Jesus. So, anyways, the last one I want to bring up, and this one is probably... Don't tell me I deleted all my pages. I need them. I need them to live. So, the last one I want to bring up is coming from my buddy P-Dubs, if I didn't delete it, and I might have deleted it. And I hope I didn't. Oh, there it is. So, there's a contingent of YouTubers, people even I hang around with right now, that are saying, "Oh, I got to turn that off." So everybody's saying right now that there's a possibility Arcade1Up could be sold. So this is what P-Dubs goes over in his video. I'll leave a link in the description below so we can do this stuff. But I'm going to take this down now, take it off screen, and let's talk about that for a minute. My business life, I have never really worked for a startup. I don't understand the whole mindset behind all this stuff. I don't get it. Toxin, I don't give a shit. I don't watch that. I don't care what these losers say. They're idiots. I'm glad we can give them some information because, honestly, 1UP's not doing anything. Might as well attack the people that like the product, I guess. So, anyways, let's get awkward, skids. Welcome to my show. It's like it every week. Anyways, so I've never worked for a startup. I worked in the customer service industry For the first 4 years, I was a manager at a call center for a cell phone company. I was part of the management team. And then after that, I went to a charity, and I've been working at a charity for the last 14 years. So I don't get working for startups, but I'm friends with a lot of people that have more experience in that. Justin Console Kits has talked about it for a while. Maybe that's what Arcade1Up was doing. I can tell you, when John D was there, and I did talk to him from from time to time, one of the things that he talked about was, yeah, Arcade1Up, one of the things they were hoping to do was to be bought at some point. I mean, that's usually the goal of a startup company. You start up, you get a successful idea, and then you milk it to the point where you can sell it for a massive profit. I mean, I'm sure that's what Scott was trying to do. I'm sure that's what all the people were invested in. So is it possible that Arcade1Up are positioning themselves for a sale? 100%. I don't know. That's not my background, but I listen to Console Kits. I listen to what he says, P-Dubs is saying here, and you take a look at what they're doing right now. Last year, really improving their financial place. This year, I think it's going to be more the same. I think part of what Biggie D is saying is true, is the fact that they're trying the best they can to work really smart, invest with the properties and intellectual stuff they already have without putting a ton of money into research and development, without really shelling out a lot of cash, and just milking what they have to get as much money back to improve their financial position. Now, there's twofold on that. One, that could be they're preparing themselves to possibly be sold, moving in that direction. Or two, they're just trying to get their business back on track after the horrendous situation Blitz put them in. So those are the two features. Of all the rumors that we talked about here tonight, them prepping to be sold or positioning themselves might be the absolute best. That might be the best case scenario. And if they're sold to the right company, maybe we do get a company that has the money, resources, and ability to go out and do some of the wild and wacky shit we want. But if not, hopefully they can turn it around, have another successful year, but do a little bit of both. They can keep doing smart things, but also do some cool shit for the community as well that might not be as openly profitable as what they're doing, but could in turn please some of us and still have some rewards as well. So in all these, I think the most realistic is probably the sale, but even then, I don't know if that's 100% guaranteed. I know that was the plan when John D was working about there. He talked about it a lot, but there we go. That's the thing I was wondering earlier, King Ed, as well. I talked to Nostalgia about this the other night, and I'm not sure. Apparently, there's a rumor, and P-Dubs puts it out there, that one of their investors has taken over the company. I can't find anything online to confirm that in any capacity. Tastemakers is still listed as a private company. Whoever the investor is, I don't know if they've listed it separately, so there you go. Namco. I don't think Namco's the investor. Actually, one time John D told me, he told me I should come to Vegas for EVO when they were announcing Marvel vs. Capcom 2. And I was like, I don't know EVO. I'm not a fighting game guy. I don't think I can make it to Vegas in short notice. But what he said was, we're going to go to the strip club. One of the investors owns the strip club in Vegas. So maybe it's a strip club, a very high-end strip club that owns Arcade1Up now. Who knows? Well, yeah. So, I mean, Dareth Zella, thank you very much for saying that. Yeah, I mean, these are just facsimiles, recreations. There is absolutely nothing wrong with them. I would still have a full arcade downstairs if I didn't need the space. Sure, maybe I'm not as interested in what they're releasing the last couple of years. That's because they're doing a lot of games I've already had or I've bought multiple times. Sure, the deluxe form factor is cooler, but, I'm waiting for something I really want. Last year, the two new releases, and it was only two, were Fast and the Furious, which is a game I have no interest in. I'm not, no nostalgia for, and Time Crisis, which is another arcade game I had no nostalgia for. I remember playing Time Crisis on the PlayStation, and I'm not at that FOMO place anymore where I need to buy everything. So, I still love Arcade1Up. It's just, I had less space, and I'm not buying anything else right now because they're not doing anything new. So there we go. Casinocade. Here's the thing. Where's this article? I don't know if I can find the same article up, but one of the things that Arcade1Up is involved in is the gaming industry. So there you go. Even disappointing people can surprise you every once in a while. Let's set the expectations low, hope for the best, and be glad if we get something unexpected. That's what I'm hoping for this year. No, Paul, no. Like right now, we don't know anything. Someone asked me a while ago, they said, of all the cabs that were listed in that list, what do you think is the most realistic for Arcade1Up to do? And I said the Street Fighter Alpha cab. I still feel that way because I think Street Fighter is a title that can get sold. There's the other thing, again, and I've talked about this a bunch of times, Biggie D's right on. The retailers really determine what Arcade1Up does. Arcade1Up comes out with a list of the games they want to make, but then they take that to the retailers and then sell it to them. So they can have all the games on that list, the John D's list, brought them to the retailers like we know they did with Alien vs. Predator, and the retailer come back and say, sorry, we don't want it. So 100%, it's Arcade1Up is, beholding to the retailers. The retailers determine what games they put out. That's a wild comment, Dave. April Fools were bankrupt. Hold on. Do they still have the Capcom license? Why do you think they don't? That's what I don't know. Do they still have an exclusive Capcom license? I don't think so. I mean, we've seen Evercade come out with Capcom games recently. I mean, that was before John D was gone. We'll see if some other companies get Capcom in the near future. I teased it a little bit a while back because in that flyer that Wagner's Tech Talk put out about the At Games Legends Pinball, one of the titles he was listed was Capcom. I don't know. In all my time where I volunteered for Arcade1Up, so one of the community rumors, and I'm not going to address a bunch of the community rumors about me, they're all just stupid. And just stupid comments from idiots looking to get attention. So all my time working with Arcade1Up in a volunteer capacity, I guess I worked there, but I never got paid. They offered to pay me, or Travis said I should ask for stuff for my time, and I said, no, I'd rather not do that. I said, how about you consider me for a review cab down the line? That would be better for me, because I felt that was more of a reasonable situation. So if you want to consider that compensation, then I was compensated that way, I guess. I did end up getting Pac-Man XL, but I didn't ask for anything. Hey, Mike, my wife and I are thinking about buying the Star Wars cab. It looks great. You should, but maybe wait. It's been out since last January. Maybe wait just a little while and see if they do an XL, because I know that's one of the ones they really want to make, Star Wars XL. So just hold off. I think the XL, but then again, if you don't want to pay like $6.99, $7.99, whatever the XL is going to cost, yeah, if you can get a deal on the 3/4 scale. 3/4 scale is friggin' great, man. I've never played the new Deluxe or the new version with the riser, but I'm told it's pretty much the exact same cab, and I loved my Star Wars cab, so yeah. John bought Arcade1Up. No, John did not buy Arcade1Up. Anyways, to close things off, because I've been going too long, I think that there's definitely some grains of truth in a lot of the rumors out there. The sale, that's something they looked at doing before. Biggie D's rumor, yeah, the retailers do decide what cabs they're going to make. The problem with that one is it's not just Walmart. Arcade1Up going out of business. They had a bad year with Blitz, and they're really struggling from that. And of course, there's a bunch of people in the community, tribalistic people, who want to see them go out of business. So they're going to keep pushing that narrative. And then, what was the other one? Awkward silence. Here we go. Thanks, Garage Gamer. Awkward silence time. And then last but not the least, the other one was they can't get the licenses. Some of that speculation because they're not releasing anything new. Some of that maybe because, honestly, the licenses aren't realistic right now, some of them, because people are expecting the same returns they got in 2021, and 2024 is a different landscape, so Arcade1Up can't guarantee percentages back from sales of cab. They can't guarantee to sell as many cabs because the demand just isn't there like it was back in 2021. So there's grains of truth to all these rumors, but realistically, not everything is as clear as what it seems. I hope that makes sense, guys. Gallagher Guy 88. Hear me out. You and Rex are boxing match like all the other big YouTubers. Just kidding, kind of. Keep up the awesome work. Thank you very much, Gallagher Guy. Honestly, man, I don't want to be associated with that guy in any capacity. That's the last time I'm ever going to talk about him on this channel. I don't want anything to do with him. He's an idiot. Don't bring him up again. I don't want to talk about him. YouTube's all a joke, man. He can do whatever he wants to try to create interest for his show. Arcade1Up's not doing anything right now, so I'm sure he's desperate for information. I get messages all the time, people saying he made a video about you. I don't care. He's an idiot. I don't give a shit what he thinks or any of his friends. So I don't need to box him, and I don't want anything to do with him in any capacity. Anyways, guys, that's my comment. There's a grain of truth to everything, but it doesn't mean the rumors are true. Arcade1Up, not going out of business. Hopefully, we know what they're going to do in the very near future, because I sure as shit don't. I have no idea. You can take a look at the description. I put a disclaimer up there. Right now, I took down the part about being part of that 1UP show and Arcade1Up Date, because I don't think they're doing them anymore. I don't know if they are. I have no idea what's going on. I don't know if I'm involved, so I just took it down because there is nothing to disclaim because it's not happening. So I don't know what to tell you. I don't know what Arcade1Up's releasing this year. I can't get any information, and I don't even know if they know what they're doing yet. I don't think the plans are finalized. Anyways, guys, love you very much. Thank you so much for being here. Have a wonderful night. This has been Chill and Chat with Michael B. Good night, everybody.